Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a level walkthrough of the blockout I've made for a Quake map that I'm developing. Um, I guess kind of hopping into it, some of the themes I wanted to have in this level were kind of like celestial themes. I really like the idea of having like a moon themed stage, whether it's on the moon or about the moon. Um, and then also, I kind of wanted to include this occult factor because going along with the moon theme, like the moon is associated with like lunacy and whatnot, and kind of going mad. So I thought, I could decorate the stage with all this like crazy occult stuff, and then I could have this open sky roof and kind of have some like sky textures, and then maybe model like a little moon that could just sit up there. So I guess like this is a little spawn point. Hopping into it, I included these two weapons here. I wanted to vary it up from just like the normal shotgun. Um, I want, a lot of different kinds of weapons being used here. So I included, two very different styles, the super shotgun and the thunderbolt. And I guess like this little spawn area, I kind of have this bit of cover here to help provide protection from potential threats. You know, anyone shooting at you, they have to, not only do they have to aim upwards at you, but they also have to get past this cover. So if you're standing back here, it's going to be a bit more difficult to hit anyone back there. So I also have this health pickup. So, whether you're fighting out here and you need some health to get some cover, or if you're spawning up here and you get some health, you know, I guess coming into this main room, like I said, this is like the main room I wanted to build around. I kind of have this open sky, and once I get around to texturing it, I'll kind of have. I was thinking of using like a kind of like a starry night texture, or just a moon, or just clouds, and then just like a moon kind of up in there somewhere. But this is kind of the open area that I wanted to build around. It's kind of this. I'll probably end up making it a dome structure, just for the appearances of it. Um, but it kind of creates this round like arena for fighting. And it's kind of multi-layered, to kind of allow, going back to the moon theme, to allow like the moonlight to beam down into the area. I guess like another main game design, like thematically and design wise, it's a big central piece, but mechanically it's a big central piece as well, because of the rocket launcher pillar here I have. So rocket launchers are extremely popular in Quake. They're very good. So I wanted to definitely include them in the level, but one thing I wanted to do more of was kind of have risk versus reward scenarios associated with them. So this one here, the only way to get this rocket launcher is to jump for it. So I kind of figured it'd create this interesting situation here where if multiple players wanted this rocket launcher, there's kind of this four-way jump going on. So, you could have multiple players jumping at it, jumping after the same rocket launcher, um, and create some interesting gameplay scenarios there. Um, I might end up timing this jump to make it a bit more difficult, a bit harder to get more likely to miss the jump, I should say, is kind of what I'm aiming for. But the main thing is that it's difficult to get. It's not just anyone can walk in this room and then we have 4 players with rocket launchers. I wanted to kind of have more depth to the gameplay there. So I guess going left to right around these upper rooms. I kind of wanted to create I wanted to use this teleporter here just as a way to continue this path, without having to continue the wall of the map, kind of keeping it enclosed. But also, this kind of I saw as a good place to put a spawn point. Um, you're kind of headed right towards the rockets. So if rockets are your thing, you're right there. Um, but also, you kind of have a way out with the teleporter. So if you spawn in, and you're not about it, you can kind of back out into the teleporter. But I figured having only 2 options would be a bit limiting. So I kind of added this drop down so you could fall to the lower area. And then also, originally this railing wasn't here, but then I figured if I'm making it a spawn point, I should help, help the player out by covering some of these slight lines here, so people can't just be shooting you as you spawn in, from from an angle that you're not looking at. Um, so as coming over this way, we have the ramp. So the ramp was really fun, I think, for me to iterate on. Originally, I had the ramp in the middle here, and these walls kind of just extended it in. And then once you got to the top of the ramp in the middle, you kind of turned around and then went this way. But I ended up deciding against that because I figured if I'm putting the rockets on this pillar here, it wouldn't make much sense for players to come up this way, with their backs to the rockets, turn around the corner and then go this way. Because then there's plenty of opportunity for anyone who's just gotten the rocket launcher to kind of take you out. So by having this curve here, players are inclined to kind of look around the curve and kind of get themselves orientated to the combat situation that I'm trying to throw them into. But also, it kind of presented this thing with this slight outcropping here. I figured if I put some sorts of pickups here, I can entice players out onto the outcropping, right? You're going for the armor, and then you have sight lines of this whole ramp. So while you're going for the armor, you can be kind of coaxed into being a threat for anyone who wants to come up this way. So any player coming up the ramp now has to be conscious of, oh, like, where are people coming from? Are they going to be on this outcropping here? And that kind of extends to the windows. Well, mainly just this window here, because you can go. This is the only window you can really go in. But I felt if a player, is coming this way, it kind of kills the flow if there's just walls here. So I wanted to include, pathways out for a player coming through this window. You kind of have routes that you can that feel natural to take, for you to hop across and kind of continue moving on until you see an enemy. And so I kind of have this. I wanted to connect these two areas because I felt, if this walkway wasn't here, you'd kind of just land right into this wall, and to me that would kill the flow. So you kind of just I wanted to add that there just to kind of keep it moving. Don't want any players, running straight into a wall. And then moving out this way, this is another one of my spawn points right here. I put this as a spawn point because I figured if a lot of the players are kind of being coaxed, a lot of the players are going to be going to this pillar to fight for the rockets. Not a lot of people are going to be coming out this way looking for you. You're probably pretty safe. Most people are going to be grabbing for the rockets, and you're also right near the rockets. So if you want to run back into the action, you can, or you kind of have this other pathway out to where you could go collect resources. Coming out of this courtyard, I wanted to kind of create more options. This is another reason for the plan, is kind of creates more variability. It kind of gives the player, two paths you can kind of take. So, you spawn here, you have two paths. You either go in the temple or you go out this way. Again, you're faced with the two paths. You have a path this way, a path this way, and they kind of just branch off into another two paths, a path this way, a path this way, And then up here, I know my spawn points. I like this as a spawn point because it's kind of, again, away from the action, and there is a couple weapon pickups and some ammo. So it kind of gives you like a space where you can gear up and, not be thrown back into the action immediately. You can kind of collect the weapon that you want and kind of then, go off this way and to fight for the rockets if you'd like. And then going this way, going down the ramp. This was probably my least favorite part of the map, is this corner here. I kind of, wasn't sure what to do with it. So I kind of just put a grenade launcher. It's a pretty powerful weapon and some more more powerful armor. Just to kind of, give players a reason to leave the temple, because the grenade launcher would really help in your ability of securing that temple, because you can fire at people below, and it can do a lot of damage. Um, so yeah, I guess like this water feature I want to do a lot more with. It's kind of in the corner, just kind of spicing things up right now. And if you fall in, there's not really much down here except for a secret rocket launcher. I figured, if a player gets fed up of running into the temple, dying, they're like, fine, I'll go explore the map a little bit. They can find a secret little rocket launcher here that kind of creates more interest in what's happening in the rest of the map. Um, Moving on this way, that's kind of like where the drop down for this one spawn point is. Kind of leads into this tunnel, and here's where I would want the teleporter to connect. I figured this would be like a really good spot for the teleporter, because this can, if you go in here and teleport back up there, you immediately have a second shot at getting your rockets. It kind of, you can really quickly move from the, let's say, right and left side of the maps, but you can also move really quickly from the lower and higher part of the map. And then I guess, I think that's mostly it. I guess a couple things that I want to keep working on is, tweaking this pillar situation in the middle here. I kind of want it to be like a thematic focal piece, but also mechanical focus piece. But then also, I think like just including more platforming in general could be interesting for the level. Maybe it's like vertical catwalks. I could extend this catwalk out this way around the edge. Could be interesting, maybe. Um, so you have a bit more of that verticality in there, and that way you could probably like shoot in through the windows. But yeah, I think that's about all.